Hi guys, welcome. We're going to do donuts today. This is one of my most favorite things to make. It's super fun and it's a great thing to make with your kids. It's one of the things that I know as a family when we were had to get rid of all the allergens, we really missed. So here we go. So first of all, if you're watching the video, hopefully you've obviously purchased one of my donut mixes. Thank you so much. So we'll get started. So not a lot of ingredients, but we need a ½ cup of our shortening. I always use palm shortening. You can use any other type of vegetable shortening, but palm shortening is what I always use when I had the bakery. 4 eggs, 6 tablespoons of applesauce. We need 2 tablespoons of vanilla and a ½ teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So the first thing I do is I like to soften up my shortening before I put any other wet ingredients in it. It just helps later on with the incorporating of everything else wet. So we're going to go ahead and put that in our stand mixer. So it doesn't take very long. We're just going to do that for just, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, not very long, just to kind of get it soft. Especially in the winter when your shortening has been sitting around and it's a lot more solidified than it would be necessarily in the summer months. It's good just to kind of get that going. Okay, then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to add the rest of our wet ingredients. So I've got my 4 eggs. Okay, I've got my 6 tablespoons of applesauce. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And a ½ teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Okay. All right, so we got everything in there. We're going to mix this up really well. So probably about a minute or so. I always like to incorporate everything separately. Don't just dump everything in a bowl and expect it to turn out, because it will not turn out. So make sure this is really well incorporated before we add in our dry mix, okay? So I always like to stop maybe like halfway through mixing up the wet ingredients. Scrape down the sides, scrape down the bottom. You just want to make sure you're going to get everything incorporated. You still will on this, guys, have a few chunks of shortening. It won't be completely incorporated, okay? It's just not going to happen until you actually add in your dry mix, which you're going to try to do as much as possible. Okay, now we are going to add in our donut mix. Just going to pour in the entire bag. I always start out slow, don't go straight to high. Get it kind of incorporated, and then I'm going to scrape down the sides. Scrape down the sides here. It's going to take a good 2 minutes to incorporate this. It looks, you know, right now, it's going to look a little thick, but it's going to get a lot thinner. But it's still going to be like a thick cake batter, okay, guys? Because we do have to pipe this into our donut pan. Okay, got everything totally incorporated. So now here's a trick about piping this, because I get a question on this all the time. It's super easy. You don't need to go out and buy anything fancy as far as piping materials or anything. What I take is just take a measuring cup, like a big measuring cup, or even a pitcher or something of that nature. You're going to take a Ziploc bag, just your gallon Ziploc bag. Okay, going to create our own little piping mechanism here. That's what I used to use at the bakery. All right, and then all you're going to do is you're going to scrape it into the bag. All right, so we got everything in the bag. Pull it up here. Try to get as much air as you can out of it. And zip it up. I'm just going to pull it down so it looks kind of like this, okay? So I already have my donut pan, which you will have to go purchase these. You can buy these. I mean, Target has these, Walmart has these, Bed Bath & Beyond. It's just a Wilton donut pan. This recipe makes anywhere for the vanilla anywhere from 12 to 18. You do want to make sure when we're piping that you get them to the top. Don't overfill, because then it's going to take longer to cook them. So it's really easy. You're just gonna take the point, take your scissors. Don't make the hole too big because you want to be able to control the flow. So just a small little, I don't know if you can see that, probably not. Small little end off here. And then we're gonna pipe these, okay? Super easy. Just gonna pipe them right in here. See? It's a fun project for kids to do too. So if your little ones are too little to pipe, they can, when I get to the next part, which is glazing and putting sprinkles on, they definitely can do that. So you're gonna pipe these in. Again, you wanna fill it to the top, you know, pretty close to the top, but don't overfill them because it will take an extra amount of time to bake, okay? So once we've got them filled, the next thing you're gonna do is, we would have already heated our oven to 350. You're gonna bake these for 12 minutes. So you're just gonna bake them anywhere from 12 to 15. On my oven, it's usually 12. It just depends on your oven, obviously. Start with 12. Check them. When you bring them out, just touch them. If they spring back, they're done. Okay, that's like the best way to figure out if your donuts are done. So we baked them for 12 minutes. And this is what they're gonna look like when they come out of the oven, okay? So you're gonna have your donuts here. So I've already popped these out and we're gonna glaze. So now we're gonna go over the glazing. So I've popped them out, I've let them cool, so make sure they cool completely before you glaze them or the glaze will run all over the place. So let me move my stuff out of the way here. All right, so I already have, and the directions for the glaze are on the back of the donut bag. So if you threw it away, you need to dig it back out to make the glaze. So you need 2 cups of powdered sugar, okay, which I already have in here. Make sure it's well sifted. You can make this on your stand mixer. Just since mine's dirty, I'm gonna do it by hand, just be a little bit faster for us. So we got 2 cups here. We're gonna do, you do half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm a big vanilla fan, so I would probably put a whole teaspoon in, but we'll just do, I think the recipe calls for half a teaspoon. So we'll put a half a teaspoon to go with our 2 cups powdered sugar. Glaze is super easy. You just need a half a teaspoon of vanilla and water. One thing with the water though, powdered sugar is not forgiving, okay? Use your teaspoon and add a small amount of time. I'm pretty good at eyeballing it, so just for time we'll do that, but if you haven't done this before, do it a teaspoon or a tablespoon at a time. And you're gonna want it to look kind of thick, and I'll show you once I get done here. Because it's not a little bit thicker, it actually kind of absorbs into the donut. So you kind of want to have a nice glaze on top. And if you want a different flavored glaze, this is just vanilla, you can add different flavor. And if you want chocolate, you can put cocoa in here. If you want strawberry, you can get some strawberry puree and put it in here. So there's all sorts of options in regards to that. Almost there. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. So it's pretty thick, all right, and it's going to look thick going on your donuts. So start here with the spoon. It takes a little bit. They are awesome and they taste awesome. It's one thing at my kids' school was always asked for dads for donuts. So I always used to bake a bunch and take them up for dads for donuts for all the kids that had allergens. So you can see it's kind of thick, which is awesome. And if you don't like that much glaze, you can make it thinner. But I always start thicker because you could always make it thinner. And I just kind of in a circular way go around until it's completely covered. So I use allergen-free sprinkles. You can use sugar crystals, you can use whatever you want. If you don't have all the allergies I have in my house and it's just gluten, you can use pretty much any sprinkle, but I use an allergen-free sprinkle. And they're just fun and they're awesome, especially for special events, birthdays, holidays, just something different for breakfast, and the kids love it, especially if we have birthday parties, kids have people over. It's just something fun and it's something normal. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.